to build a traffic light with a for loop and an if statement. So the first thing I want you to do is to build the setup that you can see on the screen. So I have an Arduino board. I have 3 LEDs for the traffic light. So we got the red LED, the yellow, and the green LED. So be sure you put the resistors on the, you can put the resistors in any of the terminal. It could be the cathode, you can see, or it could be the anode. But if you follow my design, you will be okay. So just put the resistor, and then this resistor is going to the ground. Be sure you connect the power that is coming from the Arduino, the ground to the negative, and the positive to the positive. And then the other side of the LED is called the anode. You need to connect this side to one of the output pins of the Arduino. So it could be any digital pin in here from pin 2 to pin 7. I just do the same for the yellow LED and then for the green LED. So today we are going to add a dip switch. This is a dip switch. So if you go to the components menu and then you type DIP, DIP switch is, you can find this, dip switch. So the idea is to control the starting and the stopping of the circuit with this switch. So after you do this circuit on Tinkercad, so the next thing we are going to do is to code. So we need to code. So you can put blocks and text if you want. So the first thing we are going to set up is the switch. So for that, I'm going to go to variables and put the set instructions. So I already I'm going to delete all my variables. I'm going to delete all my variables and then I create it again. So I'm going to call this variable on. So you create new variable and then you put on. You can put any names you want, but it's good to put always a name that is similar to the function that is going to have. So we are going to set variable on to whatever we read in input, read digital pin. So whatever we read in digital pin, let's say we connect the switch to the, this is the line for the switch, is going to digital pin 5. So whatever we read in digital pin 5, remember the digital pins, they only produce zeros or ones. That means zeros or 5 volts. That means low or high, okay? So we're going to read digital pin 5, and then we store it in the variable on, okay? So basically this is to see what's going on or to read the switch. The next thing we are going to do is go to control, and in the control loops, we are going to use the variable if. So if we put the condition, something happens, then you can do this. You can do the following instruction. So we can go to here to math, and then we select this one is the logic expression. And we can say it, and then we go to variables, go here, variables, then we select on. So we can say that if on is equal to, and then we go again to math, to this variable. If on is equal to high, then if this condition is fulfilled, then we are going to do something. All right, so if on is equal to 5, if on is equal to high, then we are going to turn on the red LED. So for the red LED, we are going to control this red LED with the for loop, with this one here that we were talking about. We were practicing on this one last time. So be sure you put the for loop inside. Be sure to put the for loop inside the if statement. Then we are going to count up by one step at a time from 1 to 7. So basically, we are going to repeat this instruction 10 times. I'm just going to put down 5 times, so it's going to be quick. Now we're going to output. We're going to output, and we are going to set the pin. Set the pin that is on that. Set the pin that is going to activate the LED high. So this is pin 2. So set pin 2 high. Then we are going to wait a little bit. Let's wait maybe 50 milliseconds, 15 milliseconds. So basically this instruction is going to turn on the pin 2 high with 50 milliseconds, and then do another loop and another loop until it completes 5 loops, and it will go to the next loop. So in the next loop, we are going to switch off the red LED. So let's put another loop, for loop in here. Be sure the for loop is within the if statement. And then we are going to set this one to 5 as well, 1 to 5. So count up, the increments are by 1, and it will start from 1 to 5 loops. So we can now set the pin to low. Then we can go to control, and we can put the waiting time by 50 milliseconds. You can put any waiting time, but the more time you wait, the more time the application is going to spend, so it's going to be longer. All right, so basically we are going to switch on these instructions by moving the switch in here. Then we turn on the red LED for 5 times by 50 milliseconds. Then we jump into the next instructions. In the next counter, we are going to switch off the LED for 50 milliseconds 5 times. That's been 250 milliseconds. And then we keep asking. So we need to always be checking for the status of the switch. So in that case, we always need to put more set variables. For example, after each instructions, like check the condition of the switch. So again, we put another set on, and then go to read digital pin 5. So we do this instruction, and then we check if we change the status of the switch. If no, just keep going, doing the same thing over and over. So we can put another set on to read digital pin 5. And then we finish, we can put another one set So as much as we check the switch, we are going to be more accurate when we change the status of the switch. So input read digital pin. So basically what I'm doing is every time we do an instructions, we check what is the status of the switch, and then we keep going with the instructions, and then we check against the status of the pin, and then we keep going and do another instruction, and then we check always, we are checking always the status of the pin in the case you switch on. Now let's see what happened when we start the simulation. So you can see the status of the switch is low because we have 0 volts in here. That's why I put the multimeter. So what happened when I switch this? So you can see when I switch on, or when I change the status of the switch, this code is going to do these instructions. Then I change the status of the switch and it will stop. All right, so this is the idea. Please do this, and then we can continue with the tutorials.